Hello and welcome back to the Skipper's View podcast, episode 182. We're here today with Hagen, residential guest now, hopefully permanent guest, and KD from Kick Dirt Baseball. How's it going, fellas?
Good. Happy to be here, man.
Doing
Good.
ready to talk some ball.
Yeah, KD's first time on the show, so super excited to talk some ball. I don't know if you're a madman, KD, so don't know how you're going to respond to things. I just saw your recording stopped. Oh, no. He could join back. But we'll start off. This podcast brought to you by Chinook Seedery. If you haven't had your seeds yet, use the Skipper's View. The discount code, 10%, Skipper's View. They have tons of flavors. I know we get a test on them. We talk about them every episode, but they are, a power sponsor for us on this podcast. Definitely go out and get your Chinook Seedery. KD, did you get your seeds yet from Dean?
Oh, yeah. The jalapeno ranch, man.
Truck,
Dude,
yeah.
Those are the best flavor. I'm telling you, if you mix them with the lemon pepper or the Parmesan pepper, that's a good combo, too. You can play with the flavors,
For sure.
Yeah, you can mix them up.
I feel like Dean sent them to everyone except me at this point, and it's out of spite. But yeah, proud sponsor, Chinook Seedery. The Skipper's View is the code. Go get 10% off. All right. Well, we got to start hot corner, and there's just no one hotter in baseball than Aaron Judge right now. We got to talk about it. Hagen, we ended our podcast last episode with Ethan running into Judge, but right now, this is the question. Will he be the first player since Ted Williams in 1941 to hit 400 for a season? DraftKings has it at plus 6,000 odds for him to be 400 or plus. Do you think he's going to hit 400 on the year?
It's so hard. I mean, it's more likely than not. There's a reason why it's plus 6,000. And I looked this back because obviously his hair started. It was during that ejection last year. It was on May 4th last year. So he's played 161 games since then. And we all know how good that tear is. I mean, the highest WRC plus MLB history it would have been. He's hitting 368 since then. So I think that was kind of a baseline that I set. Think of how good Aaron Judge has been the last calendar year. He's hitting 368. Like, hitting 400 is so hard to do. I would love to see it, and I hope that we can see this chase. If he doesn't get it, at least take this past the All-Star break or something. But I don't see it happening.
I mean, here's the
KD.
thing. He's undeniably the best hitter in baseball and has been for a while, and it's indisputable. You look through his numbers, it's like he needs a different league or a different level to play at. It's truly ridiculous, honestly, and we almost get numb to it. All that being said, 400 I think is kind of just inachievable right now. Like in this state of the game, as good as he's going to be, 400 seems pretty lofty in terms of expectations. But it'll be a fun run. So I mean, I hope he can obviously make a push.
Yeah, I don't think he has a shot hitting 400 either. Like, he's obviously hotter than fire right now, and he's an incredible player. Teams are going to adjust. There's a reason why Barry Bonds never hit 400 as good as he was, even with his steroid usage. It's because teams are going to alter the way they pitch to him. They're going to alter the way they approach him. They're going to strategize. They're going to figure out, especially if this Yankee lineup, let's say the second half of the year, they're not doing so hot. Let's just say Jason Dominguez does not pan out. Let's say Cody Bellinger never, really catches fire. Jazz Chisholm, he's out for a while now dealing with an oblique. Who knows? The obliques suck. I don't know how he's going to rebound from that. Goldschmidt's hitting out of his mind right now, and he's 30-some-odd years old. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't see him hitting 400. That being said, Ted Williams, the most home runs this guy ever hit in a regular season is 43. He did that in about 155 games. Judge is like, I think we all think he's going to blindfolded hit north of 45 this year. So it's like you kind of trade off the power for the batting average in my mind when you compare him to Ted Williams. But being compared to Ted Williams, like, yes, Dean, I think favorite Red Sox all time. And I'd say he's easily a top 5 player in baseball all time history, Ted Williams. That's not bad company to be a part of when getting that comparison.
Is that his comp, though? Like, if we were to try and comp Judge through history to anybody who's even close from the right side, I think I saw somebody ask this recently, but I can't think. Maybe Pujols?
Pujols is probably what I would say.
Like, kind of different type of hitter. Not really. honestly, when you look at numbers in terms of production. Pujols was a machine. If you go back and look at his numbers, they were insane. So,
My name is Albert. I'm not a machine. I haven't seen that commercial in a long time.
yeah,
But
man.
yeah, no, Pujols, Ted Williams, whoever you comp him to, like it's hard to comp him just because the body size and like Ted Williams. I just look 6'3", 205. That's a big man, especially for a United States Air Force pilot back in the day. Like he almost played like it's not quite 100 years, but almost 100 years ago. He's playing in the 40s, all the way. What was his rookie year? 1939. So guys were not 6'7", 255 plus pounds. But Aaron Judge is playing professional baseball back then. They just weren't. They weren't built like that. If they were, they weren't playing baseball. But yeah, Judge is doing something incredible right now. And, Ethan and you, Hagen, nailed it on the head last episode. Just not enough people are talking about him. And it's like myself, I've been hesitant to talk about him just because I'm a New York fan. I don't want to seem like overzealous on Judge, but it's just I told you guys, I have my doubts his rookie year when you're striking out left and right. And now look how many improvements he's made to his swing. Now he's like the best. I don't think it's questionable. He's the best hitter in baseball.
Period.
He's the best hitter since Bonds.
Yeah. Yeah. We could definitely, we can go all day talking about Judge. And I'm going to pivot. I'm going to skip one here. Well, not skip. We'll come back to it. But I want to talk about another great hitter because I know you on the last episode, Hagen, take this away. Juan Soto, read off his last week. And I think, Juan Soto's coming. He's coming for all media.
Yeah, so Juan Soto in the last week, he's hitting 346 with a 1.3 OPS, and that includes 4 homers, 2 in the game yesterday with 5 RBIs and 6 walks. Juan Soto walks the usual. And I said last week I was sick of the Juan Soto narrative that's going around about he sucks. I know a lot of that was trolls and stuff like that were getting under my skin, but people were saying that Juan Soto, what's wrong with him? What is he? In batting run value, he's top 10% in all of baseball this year. And even he has 143 WRC plus this season. That's higher than the career marks of Bryce Harper, Chipper Jones, Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, and David Ortiz. And this is everyone saying Juan Soto's struggling. Juan Soto's heating up, and he's heating up fast, and he's officially here after the slow start.
Who was saying Juan Soto sucks?
In Mets world, you're hearing a lot of that.
Yankees fans.
Man, you guys are harsh, man. Mets fans, all in New York, I guess. Both fan bases.
That's probably
That's
what
crazy.
99% of it came from, was just the New York fan bases.
That's what's so good about having a guy at that caliber, though, is that even when he's not performing and people are saying he sucks, it's like when you actually look at his numbers, it's like, dude, he's got, like you said, a 140 some WRC plus. So, that type of floor, you have those expectations, but when they're performing like that, you like with Judge, we kind of get numb to that type of production. You just expect it.
Yeah, I have no doubt in Juan Soto, and New York is just people have no patience. It's like you signed him for how many years, Hagen? What was the final number? 15 years. You signed him for the next decade and a half.
765, but after he opts in, it's going to be 15 for about 815.
Yeah, people are nuts to get on his case right now. Like Juan Soto is so good. I'm still upset. I'll be upset forever that Juan Soto will never play in pinstripes again. It sucks. Katie, remind me before we go on, who's your team so I can call on you if we got some for
Mariners, man. It's a good time to talk about them.
I did not know you're a Seattle fan. I love Seattle.
It's a good time to love us. We're hot.
We are going to talk about them in a little bit. I think they have 9 straight series victories.
You can't ignore them right now, man.
No, you cannot. One guy it's really hard to ignore right now, and that's another New York guy. If you're in the spotlight, you're new to the team. We got to talk about Devin Williams. Negative 0.9 WAR, 1-2 record, 9.24 ERA. They just threw 15 games in 12 2/3 innings. He's almost giving up a walk. His WHIP is a 1.895, so it means he's on average almost putting 2 guys on base per inning. Guys, what is the worry scale 1 to 10 Katie, I'll start with you. How concerned are you with Devin Williams right now?
I would say not too concerned, honestly. There's some adjustment that needs to be made, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, you need him to be right in the playoffs. Uh, you need him to be ready to go a couple months down the road from now. They're gonna, I think, be able to find ways to work around this for the time being while he kind of works out some stuff that's going on. But ultimately, this is a guy who's proven track record. Like I said, there's just some adjustments to be made. I haven't looked into like what his profile looks like right now or what's going on in terms of like his pitches or anything like that, how guys are adjusting to him or what's working or what's not. But like I said, this is a guy who's a vet. He's done it before. He's going to be able to find a way to adapt. And ultimately, if he's ready to go a couple months down the road from now, that's what you need if you're New York.
Hagen?
I agree here with Katie, where I'm not too worried about him. Obviously, when you have a 9 ERA, that's awful, especially when you're pitching for the Yankees. But they have Luke Weaver to fill in for that spot for now, so it's not like you have just a who the hell's going to close for us. So you can put Devin Williams, kind of put him back in some low leverage situations, let him try to get some work on some things, get right back to it. But I believe stuff wise, it's not really there. It's not like his stuff's gone down, how it grades out or anything. I believe. I think for him it's just more of a location issue, just from what I've seen, at least last time I checked. But I'm not too worried about Devin Williams. I know he's had some very timely hits against him, which have really hurt that ERA. And he's a guy he's a strikeout pitcher, and he's just not really striking too many guys out compared to what he usually does. I'm not too worried about him, but not too worried. But he does have a 9 ERA, but it's probably going to be high the entire year.
So this one's tough for me. I know that relief pitcher is the most volatile position probably in sports, outside of like maybe place kicker.
Running back.
Yeah, running back, place kicker. These guys their peaks are small, and there's a reason why it's you're pitching 1 inning at a time or 2 innings. There are things in your game that are fatal, we'll say, like that cause you to stop pitching at a certain point. Whether it's you don't have the control, you don't have the velocity. You don't have the endurance, whatever it is. There's always something with the relief pitchers. The thing is, Williams is an established pitcher, right? So it makes me think this is just something going on. But when you look at this, like we're sharing the screen now, he has a career 2.21 ERA, and he's almost 7 above that. I know it's just 12 and 2/3 innings. It's not like the largest sample size. But it just the strikeouts, as you said, Hagen, they're not there. This guy almost has 400 career strikeouts in 250 innings. Like,
What's his walk rate? What's his walk rate?
Let me scroll down. Here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me see some.
He had 11 walks all 11 walks all last year. He has that this year already. That's the difference right now. That's insane. His walk rate, walks per 9, he's almost at 8 walks per 9 right now, which is horrible compared to an average of like a 4. It looks like about a 4.5 is his average. Oh yeah, it is. I'm sorry, not looking at the right tab. But and as a Yankee fan, I'm pessimistic. I don't know. Like, I'm glad we have Weaver, and I think that will help him a lot, really, because he gets settled back into it. You got like guys in the bullpen, like Ian Hamilton's been pitching pretty well since he's been back from injury. Jonathan Loizaga is coming back at some point. You just got guys who could throw in the bullpen for the Yankees, and I'm never really too worried about it. But Weaver kind of scares me, especially for the playoffs right now, unless he like fully is back in form by that time. But he's got time. It is only May 8th. I'm not pulling the abort button here. But it is a
Do you think any of it is the New York thing, being in New York and
like for him, or do you think the media
for
presence,
Williams, like the pressure or anything around that narrative?
No, and I don't know if this is true or not. Hagen, you correct me. I don't know if either, or Katie, you as well, if either of you have heard this before, but like one of my buddies who's up in Milwaukee, he like all of his friends are Brewer friends. They all went to Marquette, and I think one of them said like somebody had a conversation with him. I don't think Devin Williams was ever really happy in Milwaukee either. Like I think that he wanted to be in a bigger city. And so I figured he's like a city guy. I don't think it's a New York thing for him. I think if anything right now, it's like the media putting so much emphasis of how he has been bad. I'm not going to defend his performance, but I think like, if his name wasn't Devin Williams, if this was a random reliever, and then like 3 weeks from now, we see like 7 more appearances or something like that, and he's been lights out and his numbers get back to the norm, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's the fact that his name is the Airbender, the fact that he is Devin Williams, and this guy's a stud, like a 2-time All-Star out of the pen. It's just concerning.
How is his changeup like the same? Like, I don't know if, or maybe he's
I
just not
think
being able to
it's
throw it.
horizontally going an inch more. I think it's pretty much the same though. It grades out the same,
So
I
it
believe.
sounds like just like a lot of control stuff,
Yeah.
mostly. Okay, if you boil it down to something.
Yeah, probably something with his, I don't know, his windup or something. Because like going from 4.5 walks per 9 to like almost 8, there's a control problem going on right now.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. We could jump ahead. Let's talk about a pitcher who's dominating right now, and that'd be Jacob deGrom. He's the quickest 1,700 strikeouts, 225 games. The only two that are next closest are named Randy Johnson and Yu Darvish. They both did it in 230 games. So this is insane to think about. If Jacob deGrom didn't lose years to health issues, how many strikeouts this guy would have, he might be almost like a 3,000 strikeout, candidate had he not been injured so often. I think it's very close. He's missing what, Hagen? How many seasons did he miss in total? 2, maybe 3 full seasons?
I mean, last year he had 3 starts. Year before that, 6. 2022, he only had 11. 2021, 15. Like, he really hasn't had a full season since, obviously, COVID. Since before COVID was the last time he made over 30 starts, or at least 20 matter.
And what is he like average? Like, and when he has a full year of strikeouts, what does he get? Like 275 or something like that? 265, or is that even overinflated?
Yeah, I mean, from 2017 to 2019, his average was like 250.
Yeah, so like, let's just say he gets let's be conservative. Let's say he gets 235, and how many starts did he miss? Like 60 plus starts across 3 years.
I mean, last time he threw over 100 innings was 2019.
Jeez, yeah, like, come on, this guy, his story is so electric. Like, not even, what did he start pitching in college or at the end of college?
I believe he was drafted as a shortstop from the Mets. So it was once he got to the pros, he turned into a pitcher.
Dude, like, KD, do you think
he's
DeGrom
electric right now? I mean, it's just fun to see him right now. Honestly,
is this
so cool?
Is this a fair question to ask? Like, in the last 15 years, is Jacob deGrom the best pitcher in baseball when healthy? There's like two guys. There's two guys that would argue. Yeah.
It's probably between him and Kershaw.
I was gonna say Kershaw, him, or like last 15 years. That's 2010. I don't know who's like that electric.
I mean,
I've said before, I think deGrom is the best pitcher of my generation. Obviously, counting numbers, he won't get it because Kershaw has played way longer and all that. But I think when they're on the mound, I think deGrom was a better pitcher than Clayton Kershaw.
Damn, that's crazy to say. Just because, and Kershaw has dealt with his fair share of back issues as well, other issues he's had. Like, but Kershaw's such a dog. I don't know. Kershaw's up there for me.
Is Verlander there?
Oh,
Verlander got to be there, and Scherzer as well. You got to
Scherzer's got to
say
be there.
those. I think that's the big 4, though. I don't know. I didn't get to watch him. I wasn't as big of a baseball fan. What about, how good was Jose Fernandez?
That's somebody I was thinking of, but we said last 15 years, so I was trying to remember what exactly the timeline of that was. I think it was right around like, or that was later. That was 2014 or something
2014,
like that.
something like that.
Yeah, and
okay, so him. What about like Giordano Ventura was electric.
He was electric before he passed.
Was electric. Those are 2 guys that stand out, obviously.
King Felix.
I was thinking, Felix 2010 though. That's kind of, that was right around the time. Lincecum.
His peak wasn't as long though. That's the problem. And like the same
But
thing. Like
one game, you got their prime.
yeah.
If you got him on the bump,
Have you heard of this guy Ubaldo Jimenez?
you ball though. Darvish too was good, man. That was cool. You said Darvish was on that list earlier.
Yeah, 230 games, and he tied Randy freaking Johnson. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
I guess it
what?
makes sense though because he was like a kind of tenured pro before coming in though. So
I do just on the DeGrom front. On a big reason why I think like his prime was the best. It's in my opinion, it's the best pitcher I've ever seen in my life. And from 2018 to 2021, DeGrom made 91 starts. He had a 1.94 ERA in 581 innings, a 2.05 ERA plus if we want to use that. 12 Ks per nine, 1.8 walks per nine, 774 strikeouts. He was dominant. I know the 2021 year where he got cut short, that first half of DeGrom was truly the best. I've never seen pitching like that, and I've accepted the fact that I might not see pitching that good as the 11 starts he made that year.
Yeah, dude. His wasn't he robbed of a Cy Young one year as well? In his, am I crazy about that? But didn't he have like a sub whatever ERA for the year? What was his best ERA year?
2018, he in 217 innings, he had a 1.7. But even that 2021 year, he made 15 starts. He had 92 innings and he took ninth in the Cy Young.
and then he followed it up with like a 2 something, and then yeah, he was nasty.
Dude, disgusting. By the way, you Darvish getting compared with this guy, the big unit, Randy Johnson. I love Randy Johnson. I'm a big Randy Johnson guy.
Randy, if we could push it back, another 20 years, obviously he's up there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the last big piece of news here, gentlemen, we got to talk about it. So, Dean, our fearless leader, put out a blog on Rafael Devers. For those that are unaware of what's going on, I'm going to let Hagen give like a 10,000-foot overview, and we can talk about this because it's discussion worthy. Hagen, start us off.
Yeah, so obviously the Red Sox, Costas went down with a brutal injury. He's going to miss the entire year. And first base was kind of the one position where they didn't really have a clear option to go to. So Rafael Devers was kind of seen as the option. All right, so Craig Breslow goes and talks to Rafael Devers, asks him, hey, are you willing to play first base? And Devers just tells him flat out, no, I'm not doing that. At least from the interview I saw. And he had some comments in the interviews and was kind of, he said he was upset with Breslow. He didn't like how he even asked him that in the first place, especially after he was already asked to be a DH and move off of third base. So he was upset, and there was just a lot of quotes, and it was the same as the DH situation where he just kind of, he didn't handle the media quite well, in my opinion, and he just kind of kept rambling off bad quote after bad quote. It's not a good situation here.
KD, did you get to look into this Devers situation much before we hopped on?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in the Red Sox fandom, obviously, so I haven't been following the whole development, and I'm not sure how, the Red Sox handled everything. It seems like his role is just he's confused as to like what they expect from him. I do think that it seems like to make sense that he would move to first base anyway, honestly. I don't know if that's ever been talked about before or thrown out there, but it seems like that would make obvious sense, and I don't know why they wouldn't have tried doing that. I don't think he would really be upset with it either, honestly. I think he's more upset about the circumstances surrounding it is what it sounds like to me. Like I feel like if it was in the off season they had told him, "Hey, this is the new role we envision for you. It's going to keep you healthier ultimately, but keep you on the field that way." Like, because he didn't want to DH at one point. So I think it makes sense for the team. Obviously, I think he, ideally would want to do it and be willing to do it for the team. But they definitely should, if they're going to be competitive, they definitely should go and look for a first baseman at the same time. Like, they definitely need to do that.
And I did leave out a quote, too. He did say in the media that the Red Sox should just go out and find a first baseman, not have him play there.
Yeah, that's a little wild.
I believe Anthony Rizzo is still available, is he not?
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's their answer, but
That
it could be worth a shot.
why not take a flyer on Rizzo for like a veterans minimum? You know, like he's not playing. No one's dying to sign him, and he's
Yeah,
old now. Um,
yeah,
I don't know. This one, I don't want to give like a non-opinionated opinion on this. Like, yeah, it's Boston. I love that it's turmoil with media guys there. I do. It's pure entertainment. But I kind of feel for I feel for Devers in a little way, and at the same time, I don't, because I feel for him like, yeah, that would suck. You sign up for a job and you sign a contract, and it's like, I'm your third baseman, like blah blah blah. I want to play
yeah.
this. It's what I played my entire life. I signed a deal with you, and then you guys pivot what you want me to do. And they're running a business, right? They're the first people to cut someone if they're not performing well. These teams are brutal. They will send DFA guys. It happens all the time. So I kind of get Devers' side as a player, like, yo, this is my role. It's not my fault. You guys did not go after a first baseman, and it's not my fault he got hurt. At the same time, you are looked at as a leader on this team. You're the best player on this team,
Yeah.
and I think, even over Crochet, I'd still rather have Devers. Call me crazy. And you got a bunch of young dudes coming up right now. A bunch of young guys looking at, Campbell's a rookie. He's going to be with the team for a long time after that extension. You're Abreu. You also got Sedane Rafaela. You got Roman Anthony when he makes his debut. You got Marcelo Meyer. People are looking up to you. And as someone who coaches, like I coach high school, it's nothing serious, but it's like high school lacrosse. These seniors, when they do things that like, it's like, dude, freshmen are watching you. They're like sponges. They absorb. These are rookies in the league. And if they see that you're acting out and just like disobedient, like what type of message is that as a leader? And that's my issue with it, is that Devers is not acting as a leader and is not team oriented with this, this frenzy. If anything, I would have left it in the dark and just like not answered with the media and dealt with it internally. Like it's not something that you don't need to air your dirty laundry, essentially, is what I'm getting at.
Well, are they not? Are they not looking to just go get a first baseman? Like, I wonder if they went to. Is that what happened? They went to him and said, "Hey, you're our new first baseman indefinitely. Like, we're sticking with you there." Like, or is it just for the time being? Because I think those are different things. If it's just like, "Hey, we need you fill in," because obviously they can't just go get somebody right now. That would be the optimal option, if that makes sense.
I don't know if it came out which way it was out of those two, but it
Okay.
seems like it's more of just the opportunity. Because I feel like if you're going to move, like you said earlier, eventually it was always going to be moved to first base. I mean, he was arguably the worst defender in baseball over there at third base, and it
Yeah.
was we signed the contract. I was like, all right, he's going to finish his career as a first baseman or a DH likely. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to just kind of tell a dude the plan. Hey, you're going to be a first base, and now you're never going to play third base again. And in May when he didn't have an off season to really practice first base. And that was something that was upset with him too. Is he's like, you asked me to move off of third base, and then 2 months later, you're asking me to move positions again. And it's hard. I mean, you can see why he's frustrated, but at the same time, like Brett said, he's the leader of this team, and it just kind of comes off as like kind of selfish to me. Like I know you're the leader of this team, and you want some respect. Like, hey, I want my position. I'm the leader of this team, but the team's going to be clearly better if you play first base because that opens up the DH spot and you can bring a Roman Anthony up or a Marcelo Meyer up. Like the number one prospect in baseball is just waiting.
Dude,
Who's playing there right now? Romy.
Romy, yeah.
Yeah. But he's actually hitting, right?
Yeah, I think he's hitting,
I
but
mean,
his
I
his peripherals don't back it up at all.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and Hagen, again, you nailed it. Like you go to first and you get a DH spot. You can call up this guy and help your team that is still in second place in the. I know it's early, still in second place in the AL East. You're still 2 games back on the Yankees. You made all these offseason acquisitions. Everyone talks about your farm like it's kingdom come. You have a lot of things going on, and you're like, you haven't hit your stride yet. Like, do things that help the team over do I guess for thyself is the moral of the story here. Go check out Dean's blog if you have not read it yet. I'm going to read it right after this. He released it when I was at practice today. But definitely go read that. Devers, excellent player, just dealing with, a little stressful situation at work. That's really what it is. We will jump, though, go into the divisions. We'll start off with Boston. Bregman smacked his 200th career home run this week. It looks like Bregman is going to opt out of this deal and get paid more, I think. Unless, Red Sox do great and he loves Boston. Who knows? But any thoughts? You guys think, any chance Bregman leaves? 1 to 10? 10 being he's leaving, 1 being he's staying?
I honestly really haven't put any thought into that at all since he signed the contract, just because I think I mean, we all talked about how good of a fit he was for Fenway Park, and it literally fit him perfectly. We all saw the stats. I know Katie put a tweet out there about how good he was in Fenway Park, but it, he deserves to be in Boston. Like, to me, he was built for Fenway Park.
Yeah, I think so too. And he's been doing nothing but hitting since, got there. KD?
I just think he fits. I think they're gonna figure something out. I think something's gonna be figured out for him to be there for a while. I don't know. It
I
seems like
think,
he likes it. Maybe that's just he does like it. He's playing well, and then ultimately it's gonna be where the money is. Could very well be what happens, but I think he kind of
yeah.
likes it there. That's what it looks like to me. He's hitting like he likes it there. I mean, it's for sure.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. Way too early to tell, but it is a talking point that the fact that he is, technically on a money year, like he came
Yeah.
off signing the extension, he's entitled to his opt out if he does well. Yankees, Austin Wells hits a grand slam and it capped a 10-run 7th inning. This was the biggest inning for the Yankees since 2015. They did this against the Padres. Just yes, no on this one. Hagen, are the Yankees fraud? Yes, no.
I don't think so. I think the Yankees are for real, but I will say they're volatile because they're doing all this without a Jazz, a Giancarlo. We all know Garrett Cole's out for the year. Luis Gil hasn't pitched yet. Loizaga's not in the bullpen yet. But this lineup, if you take, they have the best offense in baseball. If you take Judge's numbers out of that offense, they're a pretty mid offense after that. Like if Aaron Judge gets hurt, this offense is not the best offense of baseball. And are you really scared of the Yankees' offense if Aaron Judge isn't in?
I'm not even. I'm
got
not even
Trent
like.
Grisham though, man.
Yeah, Trent Boz.
That's not a slight or anything, but I'm just saying. No, I mean, I've been thinking they worry me, man. They worry me.
I was gonna say, Hagen, if you take Judge out of this lineup, you are sucking the oxygen out of the room. Okay, because it's fatal. It is a fatal blow if Judge goes down.
Well, they got Goldie. Goldie's hitting really well. If you think that's sustainable,
Goldie and Trent Grisham will hold this offense afloat while Aaron Judge.
Imagine.
And then realistically, Goldie looks. He's good. He'll be a good productive spot there. I think so. Grisham, man, let it ride. See what happens. And then Judge is going to be Judge. Wells can be one of the best offensive catchers, I think, in baseball. I don't think that's a hot take to say. If he's going to be that, we'll see. But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to even talk about the Central. I know anyone who's a Central fan. Sorry, Grant. With your Tigers. Yes, your Tigers are doing well right now. You're 25-13. The only thing I'm going to comment, the Royals, 9-1 in their last 10. Keep an eye on the Royals. They're now tied with the Guardians with being 2.5 games back on the Tigers. The Twins are 2 games below 500, but Buxton keeps hitting. The White Sox just stink. I'm going to put out a piece eventually on Shane Smith. I know Dean's going to kill me. I've been saying that for a month now. But Shane Smith is a dog.
Nasty.
We'll jump to the West. Good news in Houston. Lance McCullers makes his long-awaited return. First game since Game 3 of the 2022 World Series. Let that sink in. First game since the World Series in 2022. It is May 8th of 2025. And he's getting his first game back. So he went 3 2/3 scoreless innings. He allowed 3 runs and 3 walks, and he struck out 4. And this is against the White Sox, so, take it or leave it. But he was returning from a flexor tendon surgery and had a pretty big setback in his recovery. Just a nice, hopeful story for those guys who go through that pain and suffering. And sometimes when you do sustain injuries, You don't always come back. And this is a guy who's persevered over, how miserable do you think his last 3 years were? And this is a facetious question. They're definitely miserable, not being able to pitch and, this arm not really getting better. And finally,
mentally.
yeah, mentally as well. But good for Lance McCullers. KD, we're going to talk real quick about your Mariners. So they rallied again and had their 9th straight series win. Seattle right now, they are 3 games up on everyone. I can't say Oakland, on the Athletics in the division. Astros trail
You
them, then
can't say
Rangers.
Oakland, by the way. Sorry,
I
but you
can't.
can say Oakland.
You know the funny thing is, I'm going to show the standings. MLB.com does not even they just say Athletics on it. They don't even say the Sacramento part.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the Mariners. Give it real quick.
I was gonna say not real quick. Let's just spend the rest of the show talking about this team because they got enough to talk about. They're really exciting, man. Like I think people have heard about how good Jorge Polanco's been, and they've seen all the numbers. And now he's hitting back on the right side of the plate. And he's playing second base again, so he's looking to be like coming back 100%, which is crazy to think he wasn't even 100% the last couple weeks. They have a lot of guys contributing at the bottom of the lineup. Some of them, their numbers don't stand out off the page, like uh, Miles Mastrobroni has kind of come up in some places. Again, numbers don't stand off the page. Ben Williamson is an outstanding defender, and he's been hitting. He's really good bat to ball. Does not strike out. He's been a really surprising piece, I would say, to that team that's stepped up and done a lot of things for them. Uh, Even with a lot of injuries that I was looking at it today, you have Ryan Bliss, who was like a sneaky AL Rookie of the Year candidate. You have Luke Raley. You have Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Victor Robles. So picking up a guy like Leody Taveras to come fill in, and then he comes through with an RBI knock the other day or yesterday. He's gonna, I think, be a good piece, which his numbers don't suggest that, but he plays really good defense. He's a really good base runner. And he's got a very similar profile to Robles had when they picked him up, and then things kind of just started clicking. I think he's going to be a good vibes guy. I think he's going to mesh well with like Julio and Randy and Cal, everybody on that team, just the personalities and everything. But they're exciting. And then they have guys that step up in the bullpen too, like Carlos Vargas has been sneaky, really good. Matt Brash is back, and he's disgusting through a kick change that looks absolutely filthy. So for him to get even nastier and then Andres Munoz, who's the best closer in baseball. So we're talking about a team that, top to bottom has the superstar with Cal now too, apparently. They have an outstanding staff with guys coming back. They have guys filling in like Hancock, who's done well, rebounded. And then they have role players kind of stepping up. JP Crawford looks good. I mean, like I said, there's a lot to be excited about. This is kind of like what every optimistic Mariners fan was hoping for. That's my M's spiel.
No,
Yeah.
that's good. It's good to get a little, not a deep dive, but a quick deep dive on the Mariners in Seattle. I talk about Hagen will attest this. I talk about Seattle virtually every episode because I have a crush on Julio Rodriguez. I have a lot of his rookie cards. I have a baseball that was thrown by Julio up into the stands at Wrigley up here. I love Julio. All in on him. I think he's going to have a fantastic career. I think every year. He's going to bat like 270 at the end of the year. He's going to bat close to 30 home runs. He's going to have close 25, 35 steals, depending on the year, how hot he gets. He's just going to be a stat accumulator, and he's great while he does it. And I'm really behind this staff and Julio. And Cal Raleigh. I was hoping Seattle would be able to build something here, like a real contender in the West outside of Houston.
Some other quick thing. Cole Young is playing really well in AAA right now. That's pretty much like the closest bat I would say. Who's top 100 prospect. Who keep an eye on him. It's just been the last week or two. Leo Rivas is stepping up right now at second base, but that could be a guy prospect. Possibly seeing called up, and then Harry
Colt
Ford's
Emerson.
doing well.
Colt Emerson.
Yeah,
is
Colt's
doing
in.
pretty well too.
He's in high A right now. But he's nasty, doing well. Felton Celestin is probably my favorite guy in that system right now to watch. He's going to skyrocket up rankings. He's looking really, really good. He's like, I compare him, not compare, but like in terms of like LDV is kind of like maybe a comp. Both younger shortstops, uh, hit from both sides. So keep an eye on him as well.
And I can
Yeah,
attest too. I feel like any single time we talk about a guy possibly getting traded, one of the first teams Brett always brings up is the Mariners. Like anytime a superstar with Kyle Tucker, Vlad Guerrero, you're always, I know they won't do it, but I want this guy out of Seattle.
Something's going to happen.
Pete Alonso,
Yeah.
Simon Seattle, Vlad Guerrero get traded to. Dude, I'm all in on Seattle. I'm like a low key fan. I don't know why. I think their colors are sick. I think that's really it.
It's because you want to see them win. Man, we haven't won anything. So
Yeah, and like you've
yeah.
had stars like Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, like Alex Rodriguez,
Felix was
and
the
you have
worst.
no
Yeah.
Ichiro, and you
Yeah.
guys have no hardware to claim for all these guys coming through, which I think is bullshit. It
Yeah.
sucks. I will say this: I said a real contender in the West. I forgot about the Rangers to include them. I don't want to slight any Rangers fans. They did win a World Series 2 years ago. So we'll jump though to the National League. We'll be a little bit quicker with this one just because we're already 40 minutes in. So Atlanta, they had 2 really good pitching performances this week. Chris Sale had 10 strikeouts. This was during the walk when they walked off the Reds earlier this week. He was sharp. 6 and 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 walks, 0 runs. AJ Smith-Shawver, he shoved. He had a no-no going to the 8th this week. He gave up 1 hit in the 8th. They pulled him. 0 runs, 5 Ks, 4 walks. Not the most impressive attempt at a no-no, but, for a guy who, has all the talent in the world, I think he's still 22 years old. Love to see this for Atlanta, who's been struggling the last 2 years with injuries and lackluster performances. On the year, AJ Smith-Shawver, 2-2, a 3 ERA, 1.37 WHIP, 27 innings, 27 strikeouts, 13 walks. Who knows? Was Schwellenbach not pitching as good as everyone anticipated before the season? Maybe Smith-Shawver can carry some of the slack. I'm going to let you take this one, Hagen, because it's the last thing I'm going to comment on the NL East before we jump to the Central. Francisco Lindor. So I love Lindor. He's been shafted on the All-Star selection committee from the fan vote, I guess. I don't, however you say it. He hasn't made an All-Star game since 2019. I was counting earlier, and he accrued I think it was like 15 or 20 WAR. I don't remember the exact number. Since then, he's accumulated. He's had 5+ WAR seasons in a row. Been shafted from the All-Star game. Finally, he's off to a hot start. 7 home runs, batting .290, 357 OBP, 473 slug, with an 830 OPS. Hagen, is this the year that Lindor gets back in the All-Star game?
I've just accepted the fact that he's just never going to be an all-star. I mean, I hope he does. He gets shafted every year. He's never been an all-star. And the number you're thinking about with WAR, since he joined the Mets in 2021, he's got 25.1 FWAR, 4th in all of baseball, only behind Judge, Soto, and Ohtani. Those are the 3 only players with a higher FWAR than him since 2021, and that includes a 3-win season in 2021. Not really his best work there. I mean, I do think he's an all-star though this year. But it's not even the all-star votes that screw him over every single year. It's the awards. He hasn't won a single Gold Glove with the Mets. He's won a Silver Slugger. I mean, I know I think it's crazy for a guy who's in New York can still be so underrated or not talked about much. I mean, he's taken top 10 in the MVP voting the last 3 years. If you kind of call that a chalk 2021, at least us Mets fans kind of do, where he was just kind of settling in and he really didn't get going until September that year. Since then, he's been top 3 by WAR, the 3rd best player in baseball behind Judge and Ohtani.
I didn't even realize his WAR was that high. Compared to the league, that's insane. But Lindor, I'm all in. I'm going to be voting for him at whatever votes we get at the fan vote for All-Stars this year to make sure Lindor gets some extra votes. He definitely should have a lot of love. We will jump to the Central. Hunter Green, he left his start earlier. It was due to a right groin injury. I did not get the check before we hopped on. Has there any news? Is he heading the IL? Have you guys heard anything about Hunter Green?
Yeah, he's going to the IL. They said grade 1 right hamstring strain. They said don't have an exact timetable for return, but at least a couple of starts most likely.
Okay. Not the worst in the world, worst news, but it's obviously not ideal because Hunter Green's been pitching like a dog this year. We will move Milwaukee and Chicago. They have a few injuries we'll talk about in a little bit. Pirates have a few things going on. So obviously we had the scary, scary incident earlier this week. Maybe it was even last week. The fan, I think he was like 20 years old, drinking a little too much, fell 20 feet off the wall, the Roberto Clemente memorial wall over there, I think. And it's a scary sight to see if you've seen the video. Have both of you guys seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gross. He looks like a dummy, like falling off this wall. Doesn't look like a human. The guy described it as he pretty much broke everything in his body. He's doing all right, though. So good to hear that. But we got to talk about, the elephant in the room. A man lost his job this week, and it was not his fault that he lost his job. Derek Shelton, and I'll go first. I want to hear both of your guys' takes on this. He went 12-16 to start the season. They've some of the best pitching in baseball when they're all going to be up. And I know it's hard to predict Harrington, Bubba Chandler, they're all going to be good. I'm assuming based off Mitch Keller and the Jared Jones of the world and the Paul Skeens of the world, they're doing something right in Pittsburgh, and it's with their pitching. They have not signed this team a bat, and the bats they have signed are not good. Brian Hayes signed a big extension. He can't hit. He could field. He can't hit. Ryan Reynolds was an all-star at one point. He's not doing well right now. They're just not good offensively. Guys, 1 to 10. Katie, I'll start with you. How much of a sham job is this on ownership for going after the manager here rather than selling the team or doing something? They're one of the worst run organizations in all sports.
You know, I think they do their development has to be praised. This obviously might not be like the most people might not want to hear that right now. Like the good things about the org. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not too familiar on this situation in particular, but anytime like a manager loses his job for a team's lack of performance, especially under these circumstances where it's like, okay, but what do we really have? Like, what are the expectations? Like, that's what I would wonder is what I guess they've said they want to compete. I think that's what I've heard, or that's how they view themselves as a competitor right now. But you're kind of relying on. Are you really relying on these bounce back years of these guys, these veteran types that you keep signing? If it doesn't work, then maybe you need to consider an alternative like big signing, to support this pitching that you have. And you said Bubba Chandler, they have some exciting arms down there that you want to see come up with them and stay with them long term, you know what I mean? So, and you want them to want to be there, which a lot of guys do, it seems, with the Pirates. So,
Yeah, it's kind of a disaster down in Pittsburgh. I hate this for Derek Shelton. I don't think it's a manager issue. I think it's an ownership issue.
yeah,
I can pitch all day. It's not going to change anything. The guy lost his job. Ownership's not selling the team. And I know who am I to tell him to sell his own prop? Technically he owns the team, so who am I? But that doesn't sit well with me.
yeah.
We'll jump to the West though. So we got Dodgers still out in front. San Diego and San Francisco right on their tails at a game and a half back. Colorado Rockies stink, and I don't think we're going to mention them on the show until they. I don't even know.
I
Hey,
think
we
we've
got to
gone
set a
2
rule.
shows in a row mentioning them, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's been mentioning how bad they are. That's really what we're doing. It's not like we're not even naming players and like their performance. We're just saying they suck, which they do. Like I hate saying that because like their stadium's really cool, but like they're just not good. I do want to share that we got to talk about the Diamondbacks. So they got these. I think the MLB right now is 3 for 3, by the way, on the newest City Connect jerseys. So, Katie, quickly, Chicago White Sox, the Marlins, and now the Diamondbacks have all announced their new City Connects over the last week and a half. This is what we're looking at 1 to 10. How awesome is this jersey?
I'm giving that 8.7 off rip. That's what I'm feeling. It's
Hagen.
still not as good as the desert one.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one too. Hagen, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on this one?
I love this color scheme. I think they could have done. I give it like an 8 because I think they could have done a lot cooler things with these colors. But I mean, it looks amazing. I still think it clears the White Sox, Chicago Bulls, whatever the hell you want to call them jerseys.
I tend to agree. I think the Bulls are the last place. The Marlins they knocked out of the park. Those are awesome. And now the Diamondbacks have done spectacular on this. It makes me just think of like the 2001 World Series and losing to the Diamondbacks. That's what it makes me think of. And by losing, I mean the Yankees losing. Dean's going to correct me on that one. So, real quick on the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman made some history twice actually last night with his solo shot over Miami. So, it was his 351st career home run. This not only made him tied with Dick Allen to be number 99 on the all time home run list, it also was his 42nd career home run against the Marlins. This is breaking a three-way tie with Ryan Zimmerman and Ryan Howard for the all-time lead in home runs against the Marlins. I thought this was pretty cool for Freddie Freeman. I'm always supporting him too. He's a guy I'll never dog him. San Diego, Dylan Cease, little bummer news. He left his start that was yesterday on May 7th against the Yanks. He left with a right forearm cramp. Supposedly is pretty precautionary, and he passed post-game tests with the training staff. Dylan Cease doesn't really worry me that much. KD, we'll start with you. 1 to 10, are you worried about Cease? The guy throws about 200 innings a year or whatever. He's always on the mound.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'd
I
say a
love
little
the
bit.
number, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit. Yeah, I'd
All
say
right,
I'd be worried a little bit.
we'll give that a 5. Hagen,
Yeah.
how concerned are you for Cease?
I would say I haven't looked into it too much, honestly, but it doesn't worry me that much. It may not be just because I haven't really looked that deep into it, but I'm not too worried about this.
He'll be good ultimately. At some point, he'll be good ultimately. Like he's a stud. No, he's a stud. He's gonna like be good. Like he's gonna be good. Yeah.
So I didn't put a hitting standout this week, but we'll talk pitching wise. Andres Munoz, Mariner boy. Sorry. So he's unscored upon through 16 appearances this year. This is tying Mark. I'm going to mispronounce this. Rizimskis. Do you know how to say that? Either of you two?
Nah.
Oh, yeah, it's a tough name.
Never even heard
But
of
it's
that
his
guy.
franchise record. This is the longest. What's up?
I was never even heard of that
Never
guy.
even heard of that guy.
Yeah.
Spell it. Use it in a sentence.
And use that word in a sentence. I can't even say.
I think
it's
he did give up a run his last outing though,
so
actually.
last night then, or was it earlier today?
Or maybe it was the last one. It was when it was the inherited ghost runner though. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
There's no
but so
Glowing Sea, right?
regardless, though, Munoz he's tallied 12 saves. What's up?
I say the Ghost Runners can go against
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you said earned run. You said earned run though. That's why you're right. You're right.
I think that's why the word from where I pulled this is unscored upon.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's tallied 12 saves. He's the seventh player since 1969. This is back when saves became official to not allow a run and to record 12 saves over his first 16 games in a season. He joins Josh Hader, pretty good. Andrew Miller, pretty good. K-Rod, pretty good. Trevor Hoffman, Hall of Famer. Francisco Cordero, pretty good. And Lee Smith. I'm not sure if Lee Smith's on the Hall of Fame or not. But this is really impressive stuff out of Munoz. Good for the Marlins, knocking this out of the park and then Seawald go a couple of years ago to the Diamondbacks. They knew this was their guy, Munoz. And yeah, they not only have an elite rotation, they have now an elite setup man in Matt Brash, an elite closer in Andres Munoz. Good stuff for Seattle. We talked about the standings. Hagen, you want to run through some of these injuries real quick? Run through all the NL?
Yeah, so on the Mets side of things, Jesse Winker, he went on the 10-day IL. Yeah, he strained his right oblique playing in the field the other day. He's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks, so that's a big blow for them. AJ Minter, he was already on the 15-day IL. We talked about it last week about the possibility of getting Tommy John for his torn left lat. It's official. He's going to be getting the surgery, and he's going to be out for most likely the entire year. So Mets are out with their lefties for the entire year now, with Danny Young out for the year as well. Philadelphia, JT Realmuto, he got removed from the game on Wednesday because of a left foot contusion, and we're still waiting to hear results from that. So hopefully that goes well with them. The Cubs, left-handed pitching, Shota Imanaga, their ace, he just went on the 15-day injured list with a strained left hamstring, which is a huge blow to this rotation. Cade Horton will be called up to take his spot in rotation. Cincinnati, Tyler Callahan, he ran into the wall the other day against the Braves. He was trying to catch a fly ball, and it was brutal. I mean, he hit the wall, and then he was just so much, just dropped the ball. Like I thought it was a catch, but it was one of those painful injuries I've seen in a minute. So I hope that he's not going to miss too much time, or at least is all right.
Dude, it was a brutal injury. So brutal. Cincinnati also had another one. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, yeah, just Noel V. Marte. He also is going on the IL due to a left oblique strain. So another blow, 2 blows for them this week. I guess 3 on top of the 100 rain news. Mason Wynn, he left the second game of the doubleheader versus the Mets the other day with the sprained left ankle. He's only day-to-day, so hopefully nothing too serious there. But after being on the IL for a month on the Padres side of things, Jackson Merrill's got back activated again. He went 2 for 4 in his return. He got some clutch hits for him. I know that lineup they drastically needed them because it was kind of a glorified AAA lineup for half of those guys on the team when he wasn't in there. So it's big to have him back in there. Teoscar Hernandez for the Dodgers, he just got placed on the 10-day IL with a grade 1 abductor strain. There's no timetable for return yet, but he's expected to miss a significant amount of time. I mean, Dave Roberts didn't seem too optimistic about him returning anytime soon. Also with the Dodgers, Evan Phillips, he's going back on the IL with right forearm discomfort. I know me and Brett hate that word, discomfort.
I hate forearms, shoulders, elbows, and discomfort. It is the worst 4 or 5 words in the English language. We'll jump to the AL and their injuries, though. Stan could be back by the end of May. So we'll see with his double elbow, tennis elbows, what's going on there. If he comes back and he's anything like last year, hell yeah. If he's not back, it's like, damn. Andrew Benintendi's back on the IL, left calf strain. The Tigers, they released Kenta Maeda after they DFA'd him last week. The Twins activated third baseman Royce Lewis. He had a strained right hamstring, and utility man Willie Castro with a right oblique. From the 10-day ILs, they send Edouard Julien and Mickey Gasper to AAA. Yordan Alvarez was placed on the IL with inflammation in his right hand. Zach Galoff. This one sucks because he's on the A's. He's a young second baseman. He has a lot of promise. He was taken off his rehab assignment due to a rib injury. So he was already injured, and now he's going through a different injury, it sounds like. So I guess in spring training, he was hit by a pitch and broke the hamate bone in his wrist, and he was rehabbing that. Now he's dealing with this shit. Galoff, I don't know if this is going to be a wash year for him. I hope he's back sooner than later, but he's a talented little ball player. Hate to see that for the Sacramento A's.
Sorry, I just got to correct. It's Geloff.
Geloff. Sorry. My bad.
What were you saying? Geloff?
No, I was saying Zach Galoff instead of Geloff.
Jolloff? What's the rice? What's the rice called?
I don't know.
I think it's close. It's close to however you pronounce his name.
KD looks like he put his computer down on his desk and sat 10 feet back against the wall to just kick it and chill.
Yeah, kind of.
So Carlos Carrasco for the Yankees, he was designated for assignment. This was going to happen. He was ineffective during his little stint with the Yanks this year. 2-2, 5.91 ERA. He's 38. I don't know what his future looks like. The Rangers, they hired Brett Boone, great name, but he spells it incorrectly, as a hitting coach. A day after they fired Donnie Ecker, they erupt for 16 hits in his first game with Brett Boone. I don't know if that's timing. I don't know how a hitting coach inspires 16 hits. That's kind of insane, but it might just be a timing thing. Ross Stripling, he's a notable veteran. He's 35 years old. He's pitched 9 years in the MLB for 4 teams, and he announced his retirement. That's pretty much all the news that's happened since Monday. I'm gonna let Hagen close us out though with a little Griffin Canning stat.
Yeah, so this one I thought this was really interesting, and I'm gonna put this one out on Twitter. So Griffin Canning right now, he's sitting with a 2.5 ERA. I don't think anyone in their right mind expected him to even have close to a 3. So last year, he threw 5 pitches the entire season with an ERA under 4. And those were the first 5 pitches he threw of the entire season before the first batter he faced, Gunnar Henderson, hit a home run off of him.
That's absurd.
Damn.
And then also another
Damn.
one, Ryan Presley, he, in the game the other night, in the 11th inning, he had 9 runs that, according to out, tied in MLB record. And his ERA went from 2.08 to 7.76, so he's going to have an awful ERA the rest of the year. He needs 37 consecutive scoreless innings to get right back to 2.
The Cubs need to jump on offering deals to either any team willing to move a pitcher right now. Shota, Justin Steele, and now Presley, all in the last month, have had detrimental news with them. Chicago's got to, figure that out. One of the best offenses in baseball right now, so you got to complement the hitting with the pitching. That's it from me. Do you guys have anything else you want to shout out before we head out for the day?
Nah, I'm good. Thanks for having me, boys.
Absolutely. No, your pleasure, KD. You're nice and simple.
Yeah,
Hagen,
bro.
as always, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Go check out our recent blogs on the website, our Twitter account, The Skipper's View. Check out Hagen on his account, Kick Dirt Baseball with KD. Go check them out. They both blog for us, tweet. Let us know analytics going on in the game. But outside of that, thank you for listening, and we're out. Bye.